Also being told, viewers, that Hemant Soren's MLAs have sought time with the governor to meet him. There could be, if Hemant Soren is taken into custody, there could be a proxy who might be made Chief Minister. There are two names doing the rounds, but this matter has come to a head as Hemant Soren's entire cadre of his party have landed up and they are outside the gates of his residence. They are holding a long vigil. There is a tense atmosphere. The police has asked for reinforcements. There is a siege, virtually, viewers, in Ranchi as we speak. What is going to happen? No one knows. Will the day end with Mr. Soren in custody, in jail, or will it end with him coming out only to be summoned in the next few days? Incidentally, today the ED is also summoned Delhi Chief Minister Mr. Kejriwal. In the next few days, he is going to be questioned. There is an ongoing summons, of course, against the Yadavs in Bihar, both father and son. I leave it at this, viewers. Hectic parlays, lot happening. We'll be keeping track. Coming up, Anand Narsiman on the right stand.
आप तो जानते ही हैं कि जब चुनाव का समय निकट होता है तब आमतौर पर पूर्ण बजट नहीं रखा जाता है। हम भी उसी परंपरा का निर्वाह करते हुए पूर्ण बजट नई सरकार बनने के बाद आपके समक्ष लेकर के आएंगे।
Namaste, Jai Hind, Jai Bharat. Welcome to this edition of The Right Stand. My name is Anand Narsiman, and ladies and gentlemen, we're building up to the presentation of the interim budget, the sixth budget for Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. Chunav ke pehle, largely they say it's an interim budget. What's the big deal? Ahead of this battle, Lok Sabha 2024, the Finance Mantri Nirmala Sitharaman ji will present Modi government's interim budget. This budget is expected to focus on maintaining essential services until the new government takes over. But the confidence exuded by Prime Minister Narendra Modi saying, Sarkar banne ke baad hum pesh karenge. That underlines the belief that PM and the leadership has in the people, or the voters, that they will bring them back to power. Meanwhile, days ahead of the budget, the government presented the economic review, which says that Bharat is quite confident of weathering the emerging disturbances. The report says that financial year 2024 is third successive year of 7% growth and that the public sector capital investment surged in 10 years. So what's in store in this interim budget? Will it be balanced? Will it keep fiscal prudence in mind, or the upcoming polls? And will there be a certain level of populism, and more importantly, for the honest taxpayer, some tax sops? We'll have to wait and watch. Gautam Chikarmane, VP ORF, is with us. Nilesh Shah, Managing Director of Kotak Mutual Fund, is with us, member of the PMEACs. And also Sunil Alag, Managing Director, SK Advisors Private Limited, and Sanju Verma, National Spokesperson of the BJP. Namaste and Jai Hind to everybody. Thank you so much for your time. My first question is to Nilesh Shah ji. Nilesh ji, if I may ask you, everything is looking fantastic, but kahin na kahin something is missing. What is missing? You get the feeling, no, when you got the perfect dish, everything is set, but yaar kuch kam lag raha hai. In this case also, why does one get the sense Bharat's story is fantastic, but something is missing? What is missing?
I think if we have to look critically, two things are not as good as they should be. One, consumption at the bottom of pyramid, the growth is subdued over there, about 2% for last 2 years. And second, private capex, where because private sector is becoming more efficient and debottlenecking their capacity at much cheaper prices, the new capex cycle has not begun as much as it should have begun. There are exceptional sectors like power, where the investment cycle is beginning, but bearing those exceptional sector, overall private sector is, let's say, on the back foot rather than on the front foot, like government's infrastructure. We are still the fastest growing major economy, but if you have to go from high single digit to double digit, then consumption at the bottom of pyramid and private sector capex will have to improve further from current level.
Gautam Chikkarmani ji, everybody is putting in money. Is the private sector still waiting and watching? Why?
I think it could be related to some form of uncertainty, which despite all signals to the contrary suggest, or they could be wary that the current government may not return and the momentum may not continue. Otherwise, I see no reason why, as Nilesh Shah just said, private sector investment should not come. The markets are there, they are rising, they are absorbing money. There is maybe consumption not at the bottom but at the top, and the middle end is doing quite well. The growth is consistent and that momentum is continuing. So all it could be is just one trigger before the floods begin. Also, I think FDI has been coming so far, but maybe yes, not to the extent that it ought to. Having said that, I think India is in a very comfortable place. We are just in sniffing distance of being the world's third largest economy and going on 5 trillion and maybe 7 before the decade. So I think all signals are pointing towards growth. I'm surprised that private sector has not yet initiated it. It could just be an electoral uncertainty.
No, but this electoral uncertainty lasts perennially, because we are a system where some electoral uncertainty always happens. Sunil Alagji, I remember soon after 2019, 2020, soon after COVID, we continue to have this whole conversation. Why is the private sector still holding back? What is it that is missing?
No, when you talk about the private sector holding back, I don't see any of the large companies holding back. Not Levers, not any of those companies, not Britannia, not Levers, not Nestle. Nobody is holding back. Maybe it's the small scale industries which are holding back at the moment. And they have to, because everybody knows that, look, the moment you keep on your capex on the fact that you're doing infrastructure, it is going to lead to increase in the rural markets. And therefore, they're all preparing for it. But I don't see them holding back. What I would tend to say is that, look, it's the small scale industry which needs to be pushed in front, and the banking sector needs to come out and say, look, you can take all the loans you want, you can take all the money you want. That is what is holding them back. And therefore, what one needs to do is to get the lower end more up in the market than to talk about the top big companies.
Sanju Verma ji?
Yes.
What
Hi,
is it?
Anand.
Namaste. What can be expected, and is there, despite all the indicators, rupee is getting stronger in this month, inflation is under control, all numbers, everything is, growth is on track, but somewhere something seems to be missing. As an Aam Aadmi, tax ops for me, yes. Will there be some relief at all? We'll have to see. The new tax regime, will it be enforced from the 1st of April? Then where do I save tax? If I'm being encouraged to spend, why am I being taxed to the level that I'm being taxed? That's something which the middle class always asks, because they are the honest taxpayers and they always get taxed more outside of the others. But from a larger point of view, is the private sector really holding back? Why should there be any electoral uncertainty if the Prime Minister exudes the kind of confidence that he's exuded like never before?
Okay, Anand, I heard everybody, and I have a couple of points to make. First and foremost, the fact of the matter remains that the union government, the Modi government in this case, has done all the heavy lifting. And if you look at the September quarter GDP numbers, that is amply evident. the gross fixed capital formation, which is close to 30% of GDP. A large part of the contribution has come in from the government, and that is precisely the reason that Nilesh Shah mentioned that private capex needs to sort of get its act together. I'll say a couple of things here. First and foremost, I think the good thing is that the annual FDI inflow into the country has been $65 billion or thereabouts, which means that in the last 9.5 odd years, we've gotten $585 billion plus. Point number one. Point number two, as we head into the budget, let's not forget that we may not meet the fiscal deficit target of 5.9%, which was projected last year by the Union Finance Minister. We may end at 6.2 or 6.3%, which is pretty good going, given that we are coming out of two black swan events, the COVID pandemic and the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The third important point is that for the first time, in the longest time, the direct tax to GDP ratio is 6.1% and the overall tax to GDP ratio is about 11.7%, which means that the government has that excess leeway and maneuverability and the ability, and of course the willingness is there to spend. The fourth and most important point is where I slightly differ from the other August panelists. Does private sector capex need to move up substantially? Of course, yes. But ever since that historic day on the 9th or 10th of September 2019, I think if you look at then and now, there has been an incremental capex from the private sector to the tune of 5.34 lakh crore. And the September 2019 date I'm talking of is when the union government, the Modi government in this case, took a historic decision to reduce corporate tax rate from 30 to 22% for existing companies, and for new companies, it said that the tax rate, will be barely 15%, 15%. I think this kind of tax concession across the board to India Inc. speaks volumes about the fact that the government wants private sector participation, and while the government has been doing the weightlifting, please, just 10 seconds. I was looking at some numbers. The corporate capex to GDP ratio currently in India is about 2.7%, whereas the government capex to GDP ratio is in excess of 3.3%. Now imagine if the corporate capex to GDP ratio moves up from 2.5 or 2.7% to 3.2 or 3.5%, even a 50 basis point rise in the corporate capex by India Inc. That means a couple of lakh crores, which is what we are talking of. So it has not happened in the same magnitude that one would have wished for, given the magnanimity with which corporate tax rates were cut. But there has been an incremental capex. But the more the merrier
so
in this case.
That's where the question is: what's holding the private sector back? Why are they holding back, despite perhaps the most settled thought process here that it's going to be a clear mandate? Is it only electoral uncertainty, Nilesh, or is there something more? Plus, is there more money in the hands of the common person today to be able to go ahead and dispense and increase consumerism within the system? Are we seeing, or are you looking at, so I'm asking in terms of internal factors, how much are the external factors also going to impact us and this budget?
So Anand, there are multiple reasons why corporate capex is not as high as we want it to be. And mind you, if corporate capex goes up, our growth rate could touch even their levels. One, there is a massive technological disruption coming. 3D printing, machine learning, artificial intelligence. And that is also keeping some corporate investments on hold because they want to see what technology will do to their business. Second, a lot of Indian corporates have now become productive. For example, earlier the time taken to travel from Chennai to Delhi was X. Today, thanks to the highways and removal of octroi, it has come. The efficiency resulting into logistics and also debottlenecking of plant has improved their capacity. Capacity utilization is hovering around 75% despite increase in production, and hence new capacity is not coming. Third, there was a time when under textile upgradation fund, you could gold plate your plant and take out money. and create NPS for the banking system. Now, those kind of easy loans are not available. There was a time in equity market where bad governance companies were also able to raise capital. Today, at all-time high level of equity market, there are very few bad companies coming to raise capital. So effectively, there is no easy money left on table for bad entrepreneurs to show on paper that they are doing capex and create NPS for the banking system.
Correct.
Multiple things have come together to ensure that our investments to GDP ratio remains around 30% plus and minus. We need to move it to about 40%. That will ensure that we could aim for double-digit growth, which is what China was doing, let's say, 10 years back.
Right. But Gautamji, how is it that the government can do it? And where can we see signs of this intent in the interim budget? The other aspect is technology. Is it also going to now create a huge amount of disguised unemployment? Is that a factor that you think will reflect in the budget tomorrow, or that's for later, whenever post-elections, when the new government is in place?
So while conceding to what Nilesha is saying, I think there are enough tech entrepreneurs that are coming from India and becoming unicorns. I think that tech story is actually being propelled further and made stronger by Indian entrepreneurs themselves. As far as the existing manufacturing or services companies go, I think there is space for everybody. It's too early to say that technology will come and disrupt every business. In fact, technology may make it more efficient, may speed up processes, may bring in some kind of a greater eyesight on where and how products should be made, when they should be made. Technology will be an enabler. I think we saw this happen when the ATM machines came and people said banking is going to end and all that. None of that happened. They supported the banking. Banking increased. And I think India is at that stage where there is so much growth, where there is so much pent-up demand, when there is so much that entrepreneurial opportunities, that at some point this technology will become more of an enabler than a hurdle. That's my opinion. Also, if you just look at existing work in progress in terms of what's going on, just few minutes ago, the GST data has just come. So that's 1.72 lakh crore for the month of December.
December, yes.
December or for the month of January. So I think if GST collections are going, it does show that economic activity is going very well. While I concede that the capex needs to come up to mark, etc. But I think the economy is doing very well. And so, and technology has been around for quite some time, quite some years now. So there is always the sense of disruption that technology will do. But so far as numbers going, pure production and GST is a marker because it's actual money paid out of enterprises and which goes to the exchequer. If GST numbers are rising, and they have been rising since 2017, I think we are on something. I will not discount the disruptive nature of technology, but I don't think Indian entrepreneurs are going to just lie down and let it take over. I think they will be driving this technology. Right.
Two issues quickly, gentlemen and the lady. We've got about 5-6 minutes on hand. One of the aspects, Sunil Alagji, is tax terrorism. Do you think that's been effectively addressed by the government, or is that still an issue? One. Secondly, if we need to be a Viksit Bharat and one of the most potent economies and powerful economies globally, then we need to also be a manufacturing hub, not just a technology and services hub. Has enough been done to make us a manufacturing hub?
See, look, I mean, when you talk about China ran without a democracy. Okay, that one person gave an instruction and the whole country followed it. And therefore, there's no comparison between China and India. Look, we cannot become a manufacturing hub which is equal to China, no matter how hard we try. Look, that's my view, my personal view. Therefore, becoming a manufacturing hub right now, we should pay attention to it. Look, we are paying, the government we are one of the highly taxed countries in the world.
Yes.
Not only does an individual pay income tax, he pays GST. He pays, if you add all the taxes he pays about 50 to 60% of his earned income right now. And on top of that, the government has actually put down that you cannot travel abroad. You up to 7 lakhs, this will be done. Look, I'm spending money after paying my taxes. How on earth am I paying further when TDS is being kept for the end and all that? The government has tried its best. And really the income tax which he talks about and everybody else talks about is actually only one part of the taxes that we pay. Look, the government has to put in more money between skilled labor. When most companies that I know, the large companies, when they are going into investments, they are talking about increasing their profits and productivity, and therefore it will come down. The unskilled labor which the government is spending on infrastructure, that will go up. Now, therefore, unemployment on how many people are going to be employed for skilled purpose in 1 year and how many people will be employed, the government is spending on infrastructure, no question in my mind. And they will continue to spend over the next 1 or 2 years, but how long can they carry on spending? That's another question.
Yes.
So they need to spend money in the budget on education, on skilling labor up. And therefore today, if you go abroad, I mean, if you really go overseas and you will call the guy in for an electrician, he's not called an electrician, he's a plumber, he's invited into the house, given a cup of coffee because you can't deal with it. Our country, the attitude is, oh, electrician hai, so he's not doing anything. Therefore, the question is skilling people. When you talk about the automobile industry, they are looking for people who will come into that question. The question is they do not find enough people who are skilled enough to handle automobile. Now, where do you get that? So therefore, they will spend on education. Increase expenditure on education. Tomorrow morning, let us see, because see, Mr. Modi does not wait for 1 year for the budget and doesn't do anything. Every 3 months, he introduces something. So it's an ongoing process which comes in tomorrow. That's all that I would
like. The aspect of manufacturing, and are we even having the kind of skilling that is required for us to turn into a manufacturing hub is a great point that you've made, and it remains a concern along with this entire aspect of tax terrorism. Somebody was mentioning that we are one of the highest tax-paying nations overall, as individuals, but are we really getting the better or benefit for that? Is another aspect, and should there be some relief there? Okay, final 1.5 minutes, and that is to Sanju Verma ji.
You know, very humbly, I completely disagree with Sunil Alagh on this entire narrative about tax terrorism. And very quickly, for the benefit of your audience, I'll tell you what the Modi government has done in the last 9.5 years. We raised the basic exemption limit first from 2 to 2.5 lakh and then from 2.5 to 3 lakh. Double taxation of dividends was removed in 2020 when the Modi government decided to do away with the dividend distribution tax. This is the same government which increased the ATC tax deductible limit from 1 lakh to 1.5 lakh. This is the same Modi government which said that under Section 24B of the Income Tax Act, the tax deductible limit for rental income paid has been raised from 24,000 rupees to 60,000 rupees per annum. And this is the same Modi government which also just, bear with me, my 1.5 minutes are not over. Bear with me for 10 seconds. Earlier in the old tax regime, if you had an income of 7 lakh, you paid tax to the tune of 33,800 rupees. Now you pay zero tax. Earlier for an income of 8 lakh rupees,
my sincere apologies. My sincere apologies. It's not because I do not want to do the discussion, but we've got big news coming in from Jharkhand, where Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren has been taken into custody. Going straight across to that as we thank our guests. It's a big one that after a full day of questioning and also with instructions coming in from the Chief Minister's office to the local SSP that they want an FIR filed against the ED officials. Now we have pictures. We have pictures and we have confirmation. Sanjay, we've got Saurabh Rathod and Arunima with us. We'll go to Saurabh Rathod also. Hemant Soren has been taken into custody. That's the big update. Yes, Arunima.
Yes, on unexpected lines, we are now being told by sources, Saurabh Rathod has picked up from Ranchi that Enforcement Directorate officials who had gone to question Hemant Soren have finally taken the decision that his custodial interrogation is required. He's currently in the ED's custody, and I think this is on expected lines for the JMM also. because they have already made arrangements to meet the governor and propose the name of the new legislative party leader. So it's all going as per what was speculated upon. The reason Hemant Soren is being taken into custody is because what ED officials say is that they have gathered enough evidence to show that Hemant Soren was in the know, not just in the know about the way the land parcels in Ranchi were getting sold off and the ill-gotten wealth was then getting laundered, but he was very much a part of the conspiracy. That's the broad allegation against him.
Right.
Enforcement Directorate wants to question him further, hence the arrest.
Arunima, please stay with me on the phone line. Saurabh Rathore is also with us. Yes, Saurabh, what's the latest? Are we going to see him being brought out in the ED vehicle? Has he been taken into custody already? Where is he going to be taken out from the CM residence? Saurabh.
Yes, Anand, it's not officially announced, but what our sources inside CM House is telling us is that yes, Hemant Soren has been taken into custody, and we are also learning that he'll be taken to Camp Jail, which is just beside Hemant Soren's residence in Ranchi, and we are also getting the visuals of the MLAs of the legislature party, where all the MLAs have entered inside the governor house, and it is said that around 42 MLAs were there of the legislature party, and this was done because the magic number is of 41, and now 42 MLAs have entered governor house so that they would stake claim that there is no danger, no crisis as far as the government of Jharkhand is concerned, and they have the majority. And what our sources are telling us at this point of time is that Hemant Soren has been taken into custody and he will be taken to Camp Jail. This is the latest information what we are getting from our sources. Remember, Anand, the MLAs were waiting for over there at the CM residence, and they were made to sit in one hall over there, and the 3 buses were waiting at the CM residence to take them to the governor house. The governor house had given the time for the MLAs to come, and after that we saw the 3 buses of MLAs entering inside the governor house.
Now we are seeing those buses going out. We are seeing those buses going out, Saurabh. 3 buses followed by 2 vehicles. Is Kalpana Soren part of that in that vehicle? Is she going to be now Is she now going to be made the Chief Minister of Jharkhand? Is that what going to happen? Is there was there a letter of support that was signed and asked of every MLA? You're saying 42 MLAs have gone. That means there are some who are missing in that lineup, because their numbers were about 45, 46. Correct me if I'm wrong. So is Seema Soren not part of it? Saurabh.
Yes, and there were 4 MLAs who did not participate in the meeting yesterday also. But there is a twist. Earlier we were speculating that Kalpana Soren would become the Chief Minister. But we also told our viewers that there is one more name, Champai Soren, who is the transport minister right now. His name was also emerging for the in the front runners list, and now it is highly speculated.
Nishikant Dubey has just tweeted saying Champai Soren जी को विधायक दल ने अगले मुख्यमंत्री के लिए प्रस्तावित किया. हेमंत सोरेन जी की कल्पना सोरेन जी को मुख्यमंत्री परिवार के विरोध के कारण नहीं बना पाए. So this is what he has tweeted just about 15 minutes ago, and you are just saying that the entire group of MLAs have taken Champai Soren's name. So is Champai Soren going to be the next Chief Minister of Jharkhand?
Yes, we have reported earlier also that there was a family feud within the Hemant Soren family, where Kalpana Soren's name was opposed by sister-in-law Sita Soren, and she was also having the support of a few MLAs from Congress as well as JMM, and that led to the decision that was taken today that Champai Soren is going to be the Chief Minister, and his name was also proposed yesterday. As we said, that letter of support was taken from the legislature party MLAs, and 2 names were written on it, and on both the papers, one of Kalpana Soren and the other was of Champai Soren. Both the letters were signed, and now finally the MLAs had said that whatever decision, the final decision will be taken by Hemant Soren, that will be accepted by all the MLAs. So they had signed both the papers, and after the news that is coming out that Hemant Soren has been taken into custody, the MLAs have been advised that the name of Champai Soren should be given for the for the chief minister's post. And we have already learned that there was a JMM seat that was vacated by when one of the JMM MLA had resigned in this month only on January 2nd. Mr. Ahmed from Gandhi seat of Giridih, he had vacated his post by resigning as an MLA, and now it is expected that he is going to contest from that seat, and then he'll be officially become the chief minister. Till then, the whole legislature party has nominated his name as the chief minister, as they have the majority of at least 48 MLAs. Now, Sita Soren's controversy came only then. It was decided that Kalpana Soren won't be the chief minister's face because there were some conflicts within the party as well as within the family. And Champai Soren is a senior leader in the party. He is not a part of Soren family, although, but he is a very he has been into politics right from 2005, and he became an MLA in 2005, and in 2009 he became the minister in the government for the first time, and then he held several positions in the government, and currently he is the transport minister, and he has not been into controversy much, and all the MLAs of the ruling party, they have given their consent that to avoid any kind of crisis within the party, within the government, Champai Soren should become the chief minister.
So has Hemant Soren actually gone to the governor's place, or is it Champai Soren who's gone? Because if Hemant Soren has been taken into custody, how is he in at Raj Bhavan, or are the ED officials allowing him to go there as chief minister to submit his resignation so that the next process can be taken forward and Champai Soren can be sworn in? What's going on, Saurabh?
We don't have exact, Anand, we don't have exact
because we just have visuals of a vehicle, a grey color vehicle entering the governor's residence, and Hemant Soren can be seen there. He's waving to the media. That's what he's showing his hands, perhaps a show of defiance at this point. But is that Hemant Soren there? And he's got a thumbs up. He's got a thumbs up there, and it is Hemant Soren in that. So he has gone before being formally taken into custody by the ED. They are allowing him to go to the Raj Bhavan to tender his resignation.
Yes, and the time was sought from the governor by Hemant Soren himself that he would take all the MLAs to the governor house, and the governor had given the time for the meeting of all the MLAs at around 7:50. It was a bit delay because the whole procedure was of custody was taking place, and it got delayed a bit. But now we see Hemant Soren, he was there with all his MLAs, clearly tendering his resignation and projecting the CM face of the ruling party, and also he has claimed that the party has all the majority, so there is no crisis as far as the government of Jharkhand is concerned. So clearly Hemant Soren, before leaving with the ED officials to camp jail, what we are learning from our sources, he had entered inside the governor house and he tendered his resignation, although it is not official right now, but
well, we have seen, we've just got the live visuals coming in from Ranchi, Saurabh, and it is right outside the governor's residence. It is Hemant Soren going in to tender his resignation. Champai Soren to be the next chief minister of Jharkhand, Shibu Soren, loyalist, minister of transport and also scheduled tribes ministry in the current government. He's an MLA from Saraikela. Arunima is telling us, popularly called the Jharkhand Tiger. And how is it that Champai Soren's name has come about? Saurabh, stay on with us. Arunima is also tracking the details. ED sources are saying that he's formally under arrest or he's been taken into custody by the ED. But this formality being allowed, that the sitting chief minister tenders his resignation, Champai Soren then goes in to stake claim to form government and say that the JMM Congress alliance is intact with the support of at least 42 MLAs. Out of 46, there are 42 MLAs. Yes, Arunima.
So, Anand, first things first, ED is officially not spoken yet. If you see, just earlier in the day, Hemant Soren actually filed a police complaint against the ED officials, accusing them of harassing him because he's a scheduled tribe on grounds that they have planted stories about him being the owner of the two BMW cars and the cash that was seized from his residence. So everything was unofficial in those report ads. Even then, a complaint has been filed. That perhaps is the reason why ED is being so circumspect. Officially, they have not spoken, but like Saurabh is picking up from his sources there, ED has formally told Hemant Soren and JMM that he is being taken into custody, but he's a sitting chief minister, and therefore there are some constitutional obligations that has to be carried out. Perhaps
Arunima, just pause. We've got some reactions of local Jharkhand MLAs. Let's listen in.
से कहा गया है कि चंपई सोरेन झारखंड के अगले मुख्यमंत्री होंगे और इसी चीज का ऐलान राजेश ठाकुर ने यहां पर किया है कि अगले मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में चंपई सोरेन को झारखंड के वासी देख सकते हैं और इसी की एक्सक्लूसिव तस्वीरें हम आपको
बाहर कर दिया गया है। बहुमत की संख्या हम लोगों की देख करके फिर राजभवन जो है भाजपा के एजेंट की तरह काम कर रहा है और चुने हुए प्रतिनिधियों को बाहर भेज दिया गया है।
चंपई सोरेन जी का नाम नॉमिनेटेड
ये कुछ देर इंतजार कर लीजिए, आप बन्ना जी ने अगर कह दिया तो मान लीजिए।
Their confirmation that one MLA says Champai Soren will be the next chief minister, and the next Vidhayak saying that we have all been asked to stay out, we have not been allowed to go in. But Hemant Soren has gone in to submit his resignation, and it will be Champai Soren's name that will be put ahead or suggested to the governor, saying that he is the person who will be the next chief minister of Jharkhand. Yes, Arunima and Saurabh tracking the details. We'll try and go to our other reporters also. Arunima, you are saying that the ED so far has not formally arrested Soren, but sources within the Enforcement Directorate saying that he has been taken into custody after nearly 7.5 hours of questioning. But Hemant Soren now seen entering Raj Bhavan to tender his resignation.
I'm just saying, Anand, that ED officially has not spoken, and they will take their time to officially confirm that, Hemant Soren has been taken into custody. The reason for that is we have seen how much pressure ED officials have been put under by over the last 48 hours, including an FIR, a police complaint against them. Perhaps that's the reason that they are taking their time. From within the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, from the political sources that we are being told that ED has informed both Hemant Soren as well as his confidants that he is being taken into custody. However, because he is a constitutional position holder, and there are obligations to be carried out there, including informing the governor that he is stepping down as the chief minister and who is going to take over. To allow those formalities to happen, it looks like ED is allowing him some leeway, including the fact that he is going to be taken to the camp jail because he is a sitting chief minister. But looks like the Raj Bhavan also is taking the legal opinion and not allowing the situation to unfold just as JMM would want. That's what the MLA seem to suggest, that so far the resignation has not been accepted by the governor.
Now we'll have to wait and watch, because is there a formal procedure by the governor? The Vidhayaks are saying that we've been asked to wait outside. Anshul is joining us, Payal Mehta with us, Saurabh with us, Arunima with us. Yes, Anshul, what's the information at your end?
Anand, at this point in time, we are still trying to confirm from our sources within the Enforcement Directorate that if at all an official arrest has been made of the Jharkhand CM, the Enforcement Directorate has still not come on record or has told us or has confirmed to us that if at all the arrest has happened. We just saw that Jharkhand CM Hemant Soren has now reached the governor's house. What is the deal that has happened? That is something that remains to be seen, because if at all the arrest was made, why would an arrested person or a person who has been taken into custody would be allowed to go and meet with the governor when it comes to giving the resignation? The resignation could be given through a letter and not personally as well. So yes, we are still awaiting that confirmation to come in from the Enforcement Directorate, top sources out here in the national capital, if at all the arrest has been made. But yes, over the last 6 to 7 hours, the questioning that has happened, we have the details of how the questioning went ahead. In fact, what sources have confirmed to us is that there were several questions that the Jharkhand Chief Minister was not able to tell reliably to the Enforcement Directorate. In fact, not only questions were asked regarding this land deal, but also questions were asked regarding other cases as well, including the mining scam that is being probed by the Enforcement Directorate as well.
Right.
So yes, then.
Right. So the ED saying that he was not able to convincingly answer a lot of questions, and he was confronted with hard proof, which the ED, that's what ED sources are saying. On the other hand, there is drama within the JMM also. Payal Mehta with us, Nishikant Dubey actually taking a pot shot at Hemant Soren twice, because in one complaint against the ED, a reaction coming in from an MLA. Let's listen.
विधायकों को अंदर पहले जाने दिया गया, फिर बाहर किया गया. अब ये देखते हैं कि राज्यपाल महोदय अगर बुलाएंगे तो हम लोग सारे विधायकों के साथ पैरेड कर पाएंगे. नहीं बुलाना ही है, संवैधानिक पद पर बैठे हुए, कोई घर की बात थोड़ी है। जो भी करना है ठोक के करना है और सबको अपना अपना दायरा पता है। नहीं देखिए, कोई सहमति, आप लोगों की वो कहानी थी, काल्पनिक कहानी कल्पना जी के बारे में।
कल्पना जी के बारे में काल्पनिक कहानी is what the MLA said. They said they were first allowed inside the governor's house residence and then they were all asked to move out. Now they are all waiting because they want to make a show of strength and say that we have the numbers for Champai Soren to be sworn in. Is there further twist in the story? We have to wait and watch. Payal Mehta, Nishikant Dubey, first taking a pot shot at Hemant Soren because he called himself an MLA from Sahibganj, whereas there is no assembly seat like that. The other part now he is saying is that there was no support for Kalpana Soren, there was resistance, and that's why Champai Soren's name had to be eventually agreed upon.
Anand, isn't it interesting that the first time around that we saw Champai Soren's name coming in, it came in from a BJP MP. Very, very interesting to say the least as well. But yes, Nishikant Dubey has been keeping a close watch on this particular case, especially the case surrounding him.
I'll have to interrupt you. We have the Jharkhand Health. Panna Gupta ji, हाँ नमस्ते पन्ना जी, आप कहाँ पर हैं और अभी क्या परिस्थिति है?
हम लोग राजभवन के सामने हैं और हम लोगों ने अपने विधायक दल के नए नेता के रूप में आदरणीय चंपाई सोरेन जी को चुना है और महामहिम राज्यपाल महोदय से निवेदन है कि वो उनको ओथ दिलाए और नई सरकार के गठन के मार्ग को प्रशस्त करें।
तो क्या इन्होंने क्या हेमंत सोरेन जी ने अपना त्याग पत्र दे दिया है?
कर चुके हैं। देखिए मुख्यमंत्री
क्या हेमंत सोरेन जी ने अपना त्याग पत्र दे दिया है?
और
बन्ना जी,
नया नेता चंपाई सोरेन जी,
बन्ना जी,
और हम वहाँ राज्यपाल महोदय से प्रार्थना करने आए हैं नई सरकार के गठन के लिए और चंपाई सोरेन जी को मुख्यमंत्री के मत दिलाए और नई सरकार के गठन के मार्ग को प्रशस्त करें और ये संवैधानिक व्यवस्था जो पूर्व में चली आ रही है उस व्यवस्था से तो गवर्नर क्या एंटरटेन नहीं कर रहे हैं? क्या कहा गवर्नर साहब ने 5 लोगों को मिलने का समय दिया है। कब? अभी 9:50 के आसपास का समय है।
बन्ना जी, अगर आपको मेरी आवाज आ रही है, कितने विधायकों को अंदर जाने की इजाजत दी गई है?
और हमारे और 3 लोग
More reactions coming through. Banna Gupta also speaking to the waiting media there. We'll try and get him back on the phone again. Let's listen to the other MLAs.
बाहर भेज दिया गया।
आप लोग अंदर नहीं जा सकती हैं।
हाँ,
ये कहा गया।
हाँ, हमारी गाड़ियों को वापस किया गया। आप लोग के सामने हम लोग।
पूर्णिमा जी, ये क्या हो रहा है झारखंड में? आप चुनी हुई प्रतिनिधि हैं, आप राजभवन नहीं जा सकती।
ये तो गवर्नर महोदय बता पाएंगे कि क्या चल रहा है यहाँ पे। फिलहाल तो हम इस पर कुछ कह नहीं सकते। हमें अंदर जाने के लिए कहा गया था, हम अंदर गए, फिर हमें बाहर जाने के लिए कहा गया, हम बाहर हैं आपके सामने।
तो ये देखिए, जो विधायक हैं यहाँ गाड़ियों पर बैठे हुए हैं और बाहर के हम लगातार ये तस्वीर दिखा रहे हैं कि किस तरह से यहाँ के विधायकों को भी अंदर जाने नहीं दिया जा रहा था। और ये जो तस्वीरें हैं वो हम लगा देगा, यहाँ से बहुत सारे विधायक निकलते हुए। अनूप जी,
थोड़ा तक बोलिए ना।
आप क्यों हमको खेल रहे हैं? हम विधायक से बात कर रहे हैं। आपको
अरे सर बोल रहे हैं ना, एडीएम सर बोल रहे हैं, नहीं बोल रहे हैं, बात करिए, एडीएम सर से बात करिए। जाइए।
कौन एडीएम सर है?
सरकार और साजिश में अभी कुछ क्षणों के लिए कामयाब हुई है।
इस्तीफा स्वीकार कर लिया गया हेमंत जी का।
हेमंत जी अंदर गया है, आएंगे तो आप उनसे पूछ लें। अगर आपको पूछने का मौका मिलता है तो आप उनसे पूछ लें। गवर्नर साहब बताएंगे।
आप लोग गिरफ्तारी की तलवार
हम लोगों ने जो साजिश थी कि इस केंद्र में इस राज्य में भाजपा की जो साजिश थी कि पिछले दरवाजे से हमें शासन चलाना है, हमें यहाँ प्रेसिडेंट रूल लागू करना है, इस साजिश को हम लोगों ने नाकाम कर दिया है। हम लोगों ने बहुमत के साथ समर्थन पत्र हम लोगों ने अपना नेता परम आदरणीय चंपाई सोरेन जी को झारखंड आंदोलनकारी, झारखंड टाइगर के नाम से जाने वाले वरिष्ठ हमारे झारखंड मुक्ति मोर्चा के नेता को हम लोगों ने अपना नेता चुना है और हम लोगों ने इस आशय का
गिरफ्तारी होने जा रही है।
अब ये सवाल आप ईडी से पूछे। हम लोगों ने अपना नेता।
सर चलिए आइए मैडम।
मिथिलेश ठाकुर थे।
क्या चंपाई में रहेंगे आप? विधायक दल के नेता चुन लिए गए, आपका मानना क्या? आप लोग
अब वो सरकार का मुखिया बनेंगे, सरकार के मुखिया होंगे, उन्हीं के नेतृत्व में सरकार की गठन होगी।
सुप्रियो भट्टाचार्य हैं। देखिए बहुत सारी जो चीजें बोली गई और अभी भी गाड़ियों का जो काफिला है वो अभी लगातार यहाँ से निकलता हुआ, और यह भी देखना होगा कि जो अंदर गए हैं और जो जनपद।
Well, let's go back to Payal Mehta there. Now, interesting, the MLAs are saying, well, Arunima is there, Anshul is there, and Saurabh Rathore also there. Saurabh, let me quickly come across to you. The MLA is saying they have the numbers, and there was perhaps they are alleging a conspiracy to try and enforce president's rule in Jharkhand. What is the actual number of MLAs who have gone to Raj Bhavan? Because the halfway or the majority number is 41. So do they have 42 or do they have 41 MLAs present there?
No, what we were learning was that 42 MLAs were already inside the CM residence. They were waiting for this moment, and they all were together, and the number count was 42, and this number 42 was it was done intentionally because the magic number was 41. So Hemant Soren wanted to show that look, the magic number is 41, but we are having more than that, and this is why 42 MLAs were present over there. All these 42 MLAs were seen moving in 3 buses to the Governor House, and because the timing was the time that Hemant Soren had sought from the Governor House, it was around 9:45, and these MLAs had reached before that, and that's why the Governor House did not allow them properly to get inside the Governor House, and that's why the leaders are saying that they were not treated well. But the fact is the timing was at around 9:45 when the time was sought. But as far as the government is concerned, as far as numbers are concerned, they have the clear majority. If we talk about the Allies party along with JMM, the MLAs are at least 48 MLAs are there in the UPA government. Also, the one independent MLA is there, which is who is supporting the government. So 49 MLAs are already there. BJP has 30 MLAs. One MLA is independent, who is neither of the sides. So 30 MLAs of BJP, 49 MLAs of JMM. Clearly, JMM has the majority, and there is no crisis as far as government formation in Jharkhand is concerned. Now that the Health Minister of Jharkhand, Banna Gupta, has confirmed that the leader of the legislature party will be Champai Soren. So this is what we have been telling our viewers.
No, Champai Soren will be there, but what is Hemant Soren going to do? And is he going there? Has he submitted his resignation? Has the governor accepted the resignation? And will he speak when he comes out? And will the MLAs then be allowed along with Champai Soren? After that, we have to wait and watch. More reactions coming in. Then we'll go back to our reporters. Yes.
चीजें हैं हमारे सामने, और हमारे सामने चीजें हैं. आप देखिए क्या हो रहा है, और जितनी भी चीजें हो रही है किस तरह से हो रही है.
विपक्ष लगातार खास करके सत्ता
मुख्यमंत्री की गिरफ्तारी हो गई है, हिरासत में है.
अभी तो हिरासत में है. आपने देखा होगा कि ईडी की टीम के साथ माननीय मुख्यमंत्री जी गवर्नर के पास गए हैं. सुनने में आ रहा है कि इस्तीफा देने गए हैं. उसके बाद ही आगे की रणनीति तय होगी. तमाम हमारे विधायक साथ में हैं, मंत्रीगण साथ में हैं. जी
महुआ जी, जिस तरह से मुख्यमंत्री से सुबह से पूछताछ चल रही थी, उसके बाद वो राजभवन आए इस्तीफा देंगे क्या मुख्यमंत्री?
ऐसी सूचना तो है. अभी हम लोगों से वो मिल नहीं पाए हैं, लेकिन यही बात आ रही है.
मैम, आप लोगों के साथ विधायक भी जा रहे थे राजभवन में, लेकिन विधायकों को जाने
हाँ, उनका अभी 5 लोगों का ही की बात हुई थी, तो शायद इस्तीफे के बाद सबको जाने के लिए दिया जाएगा.
विधायक दल की मीटिंग में चंपाई सोरेन जी को मुख्यमंत्री का अगला मुख्यमंत्री वही
जी, यही निर्णय हुआ है कि चंपाई सोरेन जी को मुख्यमंत्री बनाया जाए.
और ये शपथ ग्रहण का कोई समय तय
नहीं, अभी ये सब बात नहीं हुई है. जी नहीं.
ये जो समर्थन पत्र है आप लोगों ने राज्यपाल को सौंपा है?
नहीं, उसको सौंपने के लिए ही जाना चाह रहे थे लोग, लेकिन अभी फिलहाल सब लोग वेट कर रहे हैं. सारे विधायक, हमारे पास संख्या बल पूरा है, जितना होना चाहिए उससे भी ज्यादा है.
अंदर गए हैं, इस्तीफा देने गए हैं,
शायद ऐसी सूचना आ रही है. जी
देखिए, राज्यसभा सांसद है
Rajya Sabha MP Mahua Maji there of the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha, they are confirming 2-3 aspects. One, that Hemant Soren has been taken into custody by the Enforcement Directorate. She's still speaking. Listen in.
दी गई है भाजपा द्वारा, और जहां भी जनता द्वारा चुनी हुई सरकारें हैं जो भाजपा की नहीं है, वहां इस तरह से सत्ता पलट देखने को मिल रहा है। लेकिन यहां पर हमारे पास संख्या बल है पूरी तरह से, सारे विधायक जो गठबंधन के हैं सभी साथ में हैं, सारे मंत्री साथ में हैं, और सब लोगों ने मिलकर अपना विधायक मुख्यमंत्री चुन ही लिया है। माननीय चंपई सोरेन जी जो पार्टी के बहुत ही वरिष्ठ नेता हैं, उन्हीं को निर्णय लिया गया है कि उन्हीं को मुख्यमंत्री बनाया जाए।
हेमंत सोरेन को ईडी गिरफ्तार कर दिया, आप लोग आगे क्या?
अभी कोई रणनीति नहीं बनी है जी।
So quickly, Lakshmikant Bajpayee of Jharkhand BJP is with us. Lakshmikant जी, ईडी ने हेमंत सोरेन जी को गिरफ्तार करके उनके साथ लेके गए हैं राजभवन ताकि वो अपना इस्तीफा दे दें। वहां महुआ माझी जो थी राज्यसभा की सांसद है झारखंड मुक्ति मोर्चा से, उन्होंने बहुत बड़ा आरोप लगाया, ये कहा है कि बीजेपी सत्ता पलट करवाने की कोशिश कर रही है ईडी जैसे विभागों का प्रयोग कर, लेकिन झारखंड में वो विफल हो जाएंगे क्योंकि हमारे पास अभी भी नंबर है और चंपई सोरेन जी का नाम हम मनोनीत कर रहे हैं, प्रस्तावित कर रहे हैं।
वो किसने इस्तीफा दिया और किसका नाम प्रस्तावित कर रहे हैं, ये झारखंड मुक्ति मोर्चा की सरकार का अपना सिरदर्द है, उनकी पार्टी का सिरदर्द है, हमसे कोई लेना देना नहीं है। लेकिन आदरणीय बहन महुआ माझी ये बता दें कि करनी को भरना पड़ेगा नहीं पड़ेगा। सत्ता के माध्यम से जनसेवा करने का संकल्प लेने वाले लोग अपनी स्वयं की सेवा करने लगे तो फिर मजबूरी है, कानून तो अपना काम करेगा, पर काम कर रहा है।
आरोप यह लग रहा है कि सत्ता पलट करके वहां पर प्रेसिडेंट रूल लाने की कोशिश की जा रही है लोकसभा चुनाव से पहले।
इसकी कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है, कोई आवश्यकता नहीं है, ना हमारा कोई ऐसा इरादा है। वो अपने कर्मों को भुगतेंगे, भाजपा का क्या लेना देना इस बात से। सेना की जमीन उन्होंने खरीदी थी ना, भाजपा के कहने पे खरीदी थी क्या? उनको इतनी अकल नहीं थी, उनको इतनी समझ नहीं थी।
पर एक और बात लक्ष्मीकांत बाजपेयी जी, ये प्रश्न उठ रहा है कि क्या झारखंड मुक्ति मोर्चा में ही खलल है? इन्होंने 42 एमएलए 42 विधायकों के सिग्नेचर दिखाए और 42 विधायक अभी वहां पहुंचे चंपई सोरेन जी को दिखाने के लिए।
नहीं, मेरा केवल इतना कहना है, ये उनकी पार्टी के भीतर का मामला है और महामहिम जी के बीच का मामला है। तो इसमें तो जो कुछ होना है वो पार्टी उनकी तय करेगी, महामहिम जी तय करेंगे, भारतीय जनता पार्टी कोई लेना देना नहीं है।
जी, लक्ष्मीकांत बाजपेयी जी धन्यवाद हमसे बात करने के लिए। वी हैव संजय सेठ बीजेपी एमपी फ्रॉम रांची विद अस। संजय जी नमस्ते, हाउ डू यू सी द थिंग सिचुएशन पैनिंग आउट? जिस तरह से वहां पर परिस्थितियां बढ़ रही हैं, हेमंत सोरेन जी ईडी की कस्टडी में गए हैं, ऐसा महुआ माझी कह रही हैं कि ईडी की कस्टडी में वो राजभवन गए हैं अपना इस्तीफा देने, और चंपई सोरेन जी का नाम वो झारखंड मुक्ति मोर्चा वहां पर प्रस्तावित करेंगे। 42 विधायक वहां मौजूद हैं।
जी, निश्चित रूप से हमने भी ये आपके समाचार में सुना है कि महुआ माझी ने कहा है कि ईडी के कस्टडी में गए हैं, तो जो कह रही हैं सत्य है। और वो चंपई सोरेन मुख्यमंत्री होंगे, ये उनका पार्टी का मामला है।
पर कह रहे हैं कि कर्ता धर्ता इस सब के सूत्रधार बीजेपी है, बीजेपी सत्ता पलट करवा रही है जहां जहां विपक्ष का सत्तासीन है।
ये सत्ता पलट नहीं है, उन्होंने भ्रष्टाचार किया है, सेना की जमीन की लूट कराई है, लूटी है, इलीगल माइनिंग हुई है, कोयला बालू गिट्टी की इलीगल माइनिंग हुई है। उन्होंने उनके घर से 36 लाख रुपए बरामद हुआ, उनके आईएएस ऑफिसर पूरा सिंगल जेल में है, उनके यहाँ 20 करोड़ रुपए बरामद हुआ, उनके आईएएस अफसर रांची के डीसी छवि उन्होंने सहयोग किया जमीन की लूट में। तो ये पूरी तरह भ्रष्टाचार का ये पहला मामला कि मुख्यमंत्री रहते हुए उनको गिरफ्तार किया गया। ये देखिए, लोकतंत्र लोक लाज से चलता है, लेकिन झारखंड के अंदर लोक लाज सड़क पे ला दिया इन्होंने, और किस कदर रूल ऑफ लॉ वहां तार हुआ है, कोलैप्स हुआ है रूल ऑफ लॉ।
आपको लगता है ये सरकार बनी रहेगी? क्योंकि झारखंड मुक्ति मोर्चा में ही दो फाड़ की खबरें आ रही हैं। सीता सोरेन जी ने कहा कि पहला हक उनका बनता है, कल्पना सोरेन जी के नाम पर सहमति नहीं बनी, अब चंपई सोरेन जी हैं।
आप इंतजार करो, हमने भी ये सुना है, सीता सोरेन जी को सुना है, उनके भाई का भी हम लोगों ने सुना है, किंतु अब तो डिसाइड तो जेएमएम को करना है। किंतु यह भ्रष्टाचार का जो मामला आया, ये बहुत गंभीर मामला, बहुत गंभीर। जिस तरह सेना की जमीन की लूटी, आप देखो मुख्यमंत्री रहे, अब तो पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री हुए, उनके पंकज मिश्रा प्रतिनिधि, और किस तरह उन्होंने साहिबगंज में लूट की एक गाथा लिखी थी, वो भी अरेस्ट है जी। ऐसे अनेकों लोग गिरफ्तार हुए। यह संविधान की शपथ लेते हुए और संविधान की धज्जियां उड़ाई, किस कदर भ्रष्टाचार किया, अंजाम तो यही होना था जी, अंजाम हुआ, गिरफ्तार हुए
जी। संजय जी, हमसे बात करने के लिए धन्यवाद। कुणाल सारंगी बीजेपी के हैं, पहले एक्स जेएमएम एमएलए हैं, झारखंड मुक्ति मोर्चा के एमएलए हैं। कुणाल जी नमस्ते।
नमस्ते।
जिस तरह से परिस्थितियां बन रही हैं, हाउ डू यू सी दिस कुणाल जी?
It is very unfortunate, and to be honest, it is not only about a chief minister resigning. There are many firsts into this. For the first time in the history of the country, it has happened that a central agency has summoned a chief minister for more than 8 times, and he has not bothered to turn up. For the first time, it has happened that last 24 hours he was absconding for more than 24 hours, sitting chief minister. And you see, I mean, if you go into the details of what they have pulled off in these last 4 years, the central agencies, whenever they are acting upon whatever irregularities they are finding there, always they play this victim card of being a tribal leader. Does being a tribal leader give you the license to luto the state left, right and center? So what has happened, no one is above the law in this country. Law has taken its course. ED had given him enough opportunities to prove his innocence. He has not been able to do that. Now they have taken the action, and it will set an example for other leaders as well for the future.
Thank you, Kunal Sarangi, for speaking with us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to wind up the right stand, but it's a continuous broadcast. Zaka will join us on the with Brass Tacks, quickly getting you 4 updates, as confirmed by the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha Rajya Sabha MP Mahua Maji. 1. Hemant Soren has been taken into ED custody, and it was under ED custody that he was brought to the Raj Bhavan to submit his resignation. He is resigning as Chief Minister of Jharkhand. Thirdly, the fact is that 42 MLAs have now endorsed their support in favor of Champai Soren, a veteran JMM leader, a close loyalist of Shibu Soren, the current Minister of Transport and Scheduled Tribes in the current government of Hemant Soren, as the next Chief Minister, and they are waiting outside Raj Bhavan to enter and to make sure that the government of the Jharkhand Mukti Morcha continues. There is no pause. That's what we are given to understand right now. High drama. Hemant Soren should be stepping out in a short while from outside the governor, from the governor's residence. Does he speak to the media? We'll have to wait and watch. Stay with us here on CNN News 18.
Bro.
आगे
India's first breakfast show that wakes up to genuine questions that matter in our life. Like, which is the latest phishing scam you need to be aware about? What careers are in demand? How to have AI write an ace resume? Basically everything you need to know right as you sip that morning coffee. So, set your alarms and get ready to start your day with a breakfast experience like never before. The Breakfast Club with me, Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor, only on CNN News 18.
Co-presented by
because the government is not concerned about the sufferings of the people. People are unable to have their meals. They have no money to pay the electricity bills. They have no money to buy the necessary equipment for their children to go to school. So the whole country is suffering. But government seems to not understand the real situation in the country. So we expect the people to rise. The next election, the election year has already come. Next year, this year, people must think differently and take the correct decisions.
No, we are holding this demonstration because there's a government that are bankrupted the country. They have no solutions. They are like leeches holding on to power. We ask them to immediately go for an election and let the people decide who should rule the country in the next 5 years.
Good evening, this is Brass Tacks, and what a dramatic cat and mouse game has been going on in Ranchi between the Enforcement Directorate and Jharkhand Chief Minister Hemant Soren. Now we can confirm for you that Hemant Soren has resigned as the Chief Minister of Jharkhand, and all his MLAs have gone and tried to meet the governor with a letter claiming that senior party leader and four-time MLA Champai Soren, the transport minister in the outgoing government, he has been picked by the JMM MLAs as the next chief minister. This has been days of drama, first in Delhi where the chief minister came. He was reportedly closeted in with senior advocate Mr. Kapil Sibal. Then he